Hey everybody, thought I'd do a little bit of a review on my 2019 Pioneer 500 that I bought brand new in 2019. And I now have like, I don't know, 2,500 kilometers on this thing. I've done a few upgrades to this unit. You know, everybody does all these reviews and stuff about different side-by-sides. I had a Can-Am 1000 XT before this, and it was a great unit, but the thing was a monster. You know, yeah, it had lots of power and big suspension and everything like that, but trying to get it up into places like this was an absolute gong show because I'm having to go around tight trees. I'm riding single track. This is where I ride my dirt bike all the time. So most of the trails that I have are single track trails. And so this little machine will go anywhere I can take my quad. I do have a brute force 750, but I prefer to drive this thing. As you can see, the few mods that I've done to this thing, I put on some Traxion 27 by 9 by 12 tires on all four corners. You know, they say they were 27-inch, but that was a total lie. Mounted on these rims, even though they're skinny rims, these things just barely make 25 inches tall, so like, what a crock. I made my own complete undercarriage skid plate out of one giant sheet of UHWM. As you can see, my whizzy little fender flares there. Just pretty much stops all the mud from flying into my cab. You can see that it hits the side a little bit if there's a lot of fine mud, but for the most part stops everything. And I can slide this thing over rocks and stumps and whatever else, and it doesn't even leave a mark on the bottom of this thing. Like, I've crashed some rocks, sharp stuff. It doesn't even leave a scratch in that material. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. It's like pretty much bulletproof. I do have a windshield in it. This was a fixed windshield, but I didn't want the fixed windshield, and nobody made a proper windshield for this machine. So what I've done is I made my own windshield frame. As you can see, I just released these couple of straps that I have on the side, which are just basically some cheap ass O-rings. I mounted on some little whizzy gas cylinders on there, made some brackets. I mounted the windshield to some aluminum brackets, and this is basically what I do. Windshield lifts up like that, therefore it allows me to open up my hood. No problem. And in the summertime, when I want that extra ventilation, I just pop the hood open like that. The gas struts hold it up just like that. Thing doesn't wiggle around. Gets me, you know, a nice little ventilation, but still keeps the wind and crap out of my face. It's phenomenal. I did buy the factory, you know, optional Honda roof for it, which is pretty nice. I mounted as you can see, a 30-inch LED light on it, which is phenomenal. The thing lights up the entire forest. Love it. I made my own stereo system. As you can see, I have a Kenwood deck in there mounted with two 9-inch subs and two 4-inch full range speakers. It does have a 200-watt amplifier up in there, and the thing absolutely pounds when you're sitting in there. It is phenomenal. Yeah, and the red hot dog up there, that's just to keep the draft that would normally go over the windshield and come down on you. That just stops the draft. Again, if you want a little bit more ventilation, I could just pop that hot dog out of there and you get a little bit more ventilation, but with it in there, I get no wind on me, which is great. I did buy the Tusk soft rear window for this thing, which was great, you know, for 80 bucks. The thing's phenomenal. I don't give a shit if I can't see out of it all that great. I don't look out the back that often. The other thing I do love about the 500, that I didn't want a stupid dumping box, because I have no use for a stupid bloody ass dumping box that just adds a bunch of extra weight and garbage. Sure, it's nice to access undercarriage, but I like the rack. I can put tons of stuff on it. I have my chainsaw mount on there, and I did buy this whizzy ass cargo box, which holds a ton of gear in this thing. You know, fits the whole back rack of this thing nice. I can still throw my lawn chairs up in the front there. I still have room to put stuff on the sides. This box is big. I can put a lot of gear inside of it. Like, I have loads of stuff, and I have saws, I have a shovel in there, I have lots of beer. That's the most important part. I have recovery ropes, I have slings, I have my air compressor, tire repair tools, extra gloves, jackets, everything piled in this thing. All my stuff, my torch, roll of shit wipe. There you go. Like, I have everything in this thing I need, and it is completely watertight. As you can see, everything stays nice and clean and dry inside this box. And the beauty of this little rack on top, I can tie stuff down on there. When usually what I do is I'll cut up a bunch of firewood and lay it on there, so when I go up in the bush I'll have firewood that I can just take off of there, and I can make a fire and nice dry wood instead of trying to find stuff out here that's dry. But anyways, the thing has been phenomenal. After driving a Can-Am 1000 for a couple of years, and it was nice, but it was such a monster of a machine. This thing fits perfectly in the back of my pickup truck and no issues. Just phenomenal to fit, move around. The biggest upgrade that I did make to this thing, which absolutely makes this thing the best for me, is I did put in air suspension. As you can see right there, these are Monroe MA 734 air shocks that fit 1968 Corvettes. Believe it or not. Yeah, Corvette air shocks in my Pioneer 500. What an amazing difference. This thing rides like it's on a cloud. I don't feel a single bump in the front end of this thing. I was going to do the rear shocks as well, but after putting in the fronts, I was like, I don't even need the rear. This thing is so smooth over the bumps. I don't feel a damn thing. I do have an onboard air compressor, and I have a gauge. So you can see my my air pressure gauge for the front shocks is sitting at 117 psi. I mounted a switch in there, an air switch, so I can raise and lower it anytime I want. I do have a heater in there, which is also running right now. I have a defrost vent, which is right in front of my phone mount. A little defrost vent. And then I have two heater vents down under the dash. There's one there, and there's another one over there, those two round units. So it keeps the cab always got a little bit of heat going in there. I bought this tiny little 3-port heater off the Slamazon there for 85 bucks, and it puts out a ton of heat. And just 3/4 inch pipe connections, connects right into my upper rad hose, so I didn't even have to disturb anything factory. So obviously I only get heat once this thing's up to operating temperature, but hey, she's always at operating temperature, so I always got heat. And yeah, like I said, I look at all kinds of other side-by-sides and stuff like that, and I don't know, I love this Pioneer 500. The one thing I absolutely love about it is the 5-speed transmission. You just can't beat it. I can short shift this thing, and I can crawl around up here. The thing's silent. I can sneak up on deer and anything else, no problem. Nobody even hears me coming with this thing. Super quiet, and now it rides super smooth. Of course, with the bigger tires and the air suspension, I've got lots of ground clearance, more than enough from what I need for this thing. And hey, if it doesn't have enough ground clearance, it'll slide right over that UHWM sheet, no problem. Doesn't do any damage to this little rig. Yeah, once again, I love this Pioneer 500. I take this thing into the craziest places. Oh, and the other thing that I did to this thing as well, I did put a torque locking front differential in this thing, which is amazing. It really didn't need it. It climbed pretty good before, but when it was like a really muddy situation or something like that, that locking front diff just is the bomb in this thing. So for a $500 upgrade, you can't go wrong. I'll get locking front diff. So the other thing that I love about this thing is the manual 4-wheel drive, where I can just shift it in and out of 4-wheel drive at any time. As long as you're not under load, you can shift it in and out of 4-wheel drive. And there's no waiting for some stupid electric motor or solenoid or whatever garbage to engage, which is always slower than shit. And then when it decides to actually shift, here it is instantly in and out with my shift lever. You cannot beat that. I don't give a shit about all the electronic garbage that they're piling in these other machines. I want manual stuff because it doesn't fail. It always works. And that is the truth of it. I am going to be building some custom side doors. They're going to be full fitting doors that will fit around the entire sides. The lower parts will be completely closed in, probably like aluminum sheet or UHWM sheet. And then the upper will be Lexan or polycarbonate. May even have a sliding window in it to open it. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but the plans are in the make. Like I said, my little windshield is phenomenal. I can open and close that. It allows me to open up the hood. I don't have to remove the windshield. Just like that, the thing opens up. I can get in under the hood, access my heater, coolant, whatever I need to. Really not much in there. My air compressor is in there, but that's about it. So yeah, there you have it. That's my review of my 2019 Pioneer 500. I've had this thing for 4 years now. I absolutely love this little machine. I constantly look at other machines and then I go, no, I'm gonna stick with the little donkey here, because this thing, where this thing can go and what it can climb, I can't even imagine trying to bring anything else up here other than a 50-inch, because they're just not gonna fit on any of the trails that I have. And I have like literally hundreds of kilometers of trails all through these crazy mountains up here. Oh, and speaking of where we're at, take a little walk over to this side here. Somebody's trying to build a teepee. Walk over the hillside here. I am in the North Thompson in Kamloops, and sitting up on a mountaintop right now, and just looking down there, that little area you can see way off there, that little housing area. It's called Heffley Creek. That's where I live. It's basically my backyard. I got my own 50 million acres to play in up here. I'm just below Sun Peaks Resort. I can cruise up around there all the time, whether I'm on my bikes, side-by-side, snow bikes. I love this area. I wouldn't change it for nothing. So there you have it. That's my review on the Pioneer 500. If you're looking for an unbelievably reliable something, that'll take you anywhere. Literally, this thing can go places. I dare anybody to try and take a full-size side-by-side through. It's just not going to happen. Just the amount of crap that I drive through to come here, I didn't even have to get out and move a single stick. My full-size side-by-side I had, no way in hell would it make it in here unless I'm plowing over trees and having to get out and cut branches and shit all day long. I don't have to do that with this thing. Every once in a while I'm out here clearing trails and stuff, sure, but this thing will fit down all the trails that we ride our dirt bikes and stuff on, so I don't really need to do much else. So anyways, there you go. That's my review, 2019, or all of the Pioneer 500s, whether it's a 520 or this 500. The 500 is not a, it's not a powerhouse, but I can't go more than, 30 kilometers an hour on most of this shit up here. So, this thing does 65K. It's fast enough for me. Anyways, have a good one, and thanks for watching.